Islam Moors. I'm Benny Zakil, and this is the Apocalypse of a Moor Spellbreaker Edition book discussion. Um, we're going to jump right into it. The first chapter is called uh, Who and What is a Moor? Now, this is one of the subjects that has sown a lot of confusion and discord throughout the Moorish Divine and National Movement. Um, that's because most Moors do not know who and what a Moor is. All they know is this is a nationality that Noble Drew Ali brought to us. Okay, that's fine. But in in my opinion, it is good to know what you are claiming to be. What are the origins of what you are claiming to be? That's one of the reasons I wrote this chapter, because I found that most Moors don't know or understand what they are claiming to be. They just heard it, liked it, and went for it. So here we go. Um, the this chapter in the book. This is the first chapter. This chapter in the book is basically more or less based on Dr. Ivan Van Sertima's book, The Golden Age of the Moor. Um, the reason I use that book so heavily in this chapter is because it's more than one researcher. Um, there are researchers. The book is actually a compilation of essays and different writings from a few different researchers like Ivan Van Sertima, Chancellor Williams, uh, uh, I think his name is Rakono Rashidi, uh, Dr. Dana Reynolds. There are a few more researchers that they have off in this book, and so I decided to use this book as one of the uh, main sources of research. So uh, this is where the information is coming from. So if you have any arguments about what I'm saying, take that up with Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, because everything I'm about to tell you is in that book. Take that up with all the other researchers who wrote it. Um, one of them is actually a Facebook friend of mine. So uh, here we go. Let's start with the word Moor. Um, the first recorded use of that word Moor was 46 BC. Um, it initially was used by the Romans. It's a Greek word, but it was initially used by the Romans when they came across the Mediterranean in year 46 BC, before Christian era. Um, and they used the word to describe the dark-skinned people that they seen over there. Now, there are a lot of people that would say that the word means black, but uh, it cannot, grammatically speaking, it cannot mean black, because black is an adjective. It is a word that is used to describe the color of something. The word Moor is a noun. It is a thing. It is a person. They called them Moors when they came across the Mediterranean. Basically, look at the Moors. Look at the dark-skinned people. So, yeah, that initial spelling of that word was Maures. Eventually, the word was corrupted down to um, Moors. Um, that was the European version of the word, which is the one that we come to know. Um, so when you hear about, because this is a European word, this is a European word that we're using right now. When you hear about the Moors running into Spain, you have to keep it in the context that uh, it was being said from the history was being given from a European perspective. Um, the word Moor was a term, was a general word. It was a term generally used to cover dark skinned people, or what they call now blacks. Blacks. Um, um, so when you look at that word, let's say the Moors ran into Spain, uh, you could say that you have to realize that those Moors that went into Spain, they had nationalities. The Europeans who are telling the story didn't know the nationality of the Moors, or nationalities of the Moors, or the dark-skinned people who came into Spain and all up into Europe. They didn't know their nationalities, so they called them Moors. It's a general term. Noble Drew Ali took that general term and turned it into a word of specificity. Um, basically, it now becomes specific with us, those Moors of North America. It's one of those words that no one even uses anymore because it was an ancient term. So now, excuse me, my hair is getting in the way. Now he took that word and turned it into a word of specificity, a general word, and turned it into a word of specificity because to give us a nationality. Okay, so let's get that straight. The word Moor, 46 BC. First use was Roman. It is a Greek word used to describe dark-skinned people. Okay. Who were the original Moors? First, let us understand again that this is a European term. In the history of mankind on this planet, there has never been a heavily melanated people who called themselves Moors. Let's get that understood. This is a European term. Everyone else had nationalities. We are the first people in the history of this planet to call ourselves Moors. Now, when we ask the question, who were the original Moors, you have to go back to the original use of the word. 46 BC. Who did the Romans see when they came across the Mediterranean? Well, according to the researchers in Dr. Ivan Van Sertima's book, it was a nation of people called the Garamantes. Those were the first people who the Romans called Moors. They were an ancient people, of course, more ancient than the Romans. So the Moor, yes, they were in that same region as Morocco as well. They were in that same region, but Moor does not mean Moroccan. It never has meant Moroccan. It never will mean Moroccan. Moroccan means Moroccan. The Moroccans do not call themselves Moors. So I say that to dispel all of that confusion and misunderstanding and misinformation, deliberate misinformation. There has never ever in the history of this planet been a people who called themselves Moors. We are the first people in the history of this planet to call ourselves Moors. Okay. Um, now, uh, I think for the most part, I've covered most of it. That's 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 just a brief history of you know what a Moor is and who is a Moor. Pretty much what Noble Drew Ali brought to us was that all of the people here in North America who were labeled as Negroes, blacks, coloreds, African Americans, all of them, those aren't nationalities. Those he brought those are Moors. He brought that for us that were hit with those labels. Um, but it is up to us to claim the nationality. That's how we get out of this situation that we're in now. We have to claim this Moorish nationality to come up out of the chattel property status. Because black is not a nation. There is no such thing as a black nation. Never has been a black nation. So I hope I clarified some misconceptions for some of you brothers and sisters. And I'll see you in the next chapter. Islam. Peace.